Hello everyone, what is up? Happy February wrap up and March TBR. When I tell you this is my favorite video to make ever, it really is. I love to make these kind of videos. They're like my favorite thing. They're the thing that makes me so happy to make. I literally look forward to making them all freaking month, and we have some very fun books on here today. If you saw my reading my February TBR video, I did make that last month. So many people did January and then like reading my January TBR videos, and then saw them and I was like, I really need a video for the end of February. What do I do? So I did that. It is currently February 27th, as I'm filming this. I wanted to film it today. Today's Friday. I feel like I'm gonna have a read-full weekend, and if I read any books to finish out February, then I'll update it, but I doubt I will. I feel like I'm excited to read some books that are on my cart. Spoiler alert, we'll get there obviously, but I think that I won't finish anything before March actually starts. So anyway, let's go. Okay, first, before we get started, I want to talk about some March releases. We have 4 very exciting releases for the month of March. Oh, there's also more March releases. These are just the ones that I personally am very excited about. I don't normally do this. If you're new to my channel, I don't normally do this, but there are some very exciting books this month, specifically 2 very exciting books this month, and so I wanted to include all of them. First up, we have Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is very like popular. I don't know, I heard about it a lot, so I was like, let me add it. Next up, we have How to Write a Love Story by Catherine Walsh. I read 2 Catherine Walsh books in the month of December, and I really liked both of them, so I'm really hoping that I will read this one too and then see more. But I really like Catherine Walsh, and I'm excited to explore more. A lot of her books are Kindle Unlimited if you have Kindle Unlimited, so you should check them out. And then next up we have Wild Darling by Alexandra Moody. This is the 3rd book in the Darling Devils series. I've read the first 2. I love them. I'm so excited to be reading the 3rd one. It's very exciting. I'm very excited. I literally have this book on my calendar. I've had it on my calendar for a hot minute. And then 4th and the most exciting book of the month, and this will probably be an April read, is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. It comes out March 31st, so again, it will probably be an April read. If it is a March read, I don't know how I read that book that fast. I will be on a trip when it comes out, so we will see if I buy it on that trip or whatever. We've got so many cool things coming out in the month of April, so stay tuned. March is fun too, but it's more Yapful videos, and then in April we'll have a lot of vlogs, so stay tuned. Saw that February TBR video, don't worry and keep going, because we have so many more books. I read 2 books after I finished that video and 1 book before, but if you want to skip the books that I read with you guys in the February TBR video, just check the timestamps and you can skip all of them. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. First up, I read Charming as a Verb by Ben Felipe. One thing I really am excited that I did this month is I read a lot off of my physical TBR, which I'm proud of myself for. So yeah, I mean, I like to take off some physical TBR. We took off 3 books from the physical TBR. We did add some, so yeah, but that's okay. We'll get there. Anyway, first up we have Charming as a Verb by Ben Felipe. This is a YA romance. I read it January 29th to February 1st, and I read it as a physical book. I read most of this as a physical book. I think I audiobooked a little bit of it. You can check in my weekend life vlog, but I don't think I audiobooked that much of it. I gave it 3.75 stars. If you saw last month's video, I did talk about how I was in the middle of this book. Okay, here were my extra thoughts. I said, this was very lighthearted. If you need something easy and like a palate cleanser, read this. It's cute and simple. I liked the characters a lot, but I didn't really like the storyline. There were some like iffy, weird things, especially the ending. Like the ending, well, not like the very last chapter, but like most of it. I don't know. One thing I really liked was the fact that this was narrated by a boy. It was very different, and I haven't read like a romance that was narrated by a boy. I mean, I've read a romance where it's the girl and the boy, but I've never read just the boy's perspective, so that was interesting. I do like the stress of college applications as I am in high school, and so that's definitely like a relatable experience. But I don't think that it was cool that it was like marketed as enemies to lovers, but they were literally friends on chapter 5. I also didn't like the epilogue, or the ending. I liked the epilogue, but the ending didn't make sense. Like, some people don't read epilogues, so I feel like it's weird when you don't. I don't know. Also, this month, February, I put this in my Fable review, and I feel like it makes more sense that I put in my Fable review, but it's the best time to read this because it's written by a Black author, and the main characters are Black, and it's Black History Month. Though, you only have one more day to read, and by the time this video goes out, it'll be like March, so. I mean, any time is good to read about a Black author and Black people, so you should read this. It was good. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite thing in the whole wide world, but palette cleansers are nice sometimes. Next up, we have Needy Little... I'm just holding my old Kindle case. Like, no, I did that because I did this, like, intro... Whatever. Next up, we have Needy Little Things by... I'm gonna say this wrong. Chanel Demasores. It's a YA mystery. I read it February 4th to February 7th, and I read it as an online read. I read it on my Kindle. This is my Kindle. Her name is Gwyneth. Here are my stickers on the back right now. They're very cute. I love them. The glare is like getting to us. The sun is so nice right now. I'm so glad I'm filming right now. Anyway, I gave it 2.75 stars, and I said this book was really widely loved by everyone who was reviewing it, but I feel not that way about it. I didn't like it. I did not like the ending. I did not like any of it. I liked the female main character okay, but every single other person in this book was bad, and she has to, I could not possibly live in this life because I would have so many trust issues. I'm not going to tell you too much because it is a mystery. The ending was super bad. Oh my god. I read it for book club. And I would not have read it if it wasn't a book club book. And my book club had many mixed feelings. Like, some people were like 2.75, 2.8, something like that. Some people were like 4. I will say I did not see the ending coming, so if you want something unpredictable, I mean, I am very, like, bad at predictability, like, I'm bad at predicting things, but I would say that this was pretty unpredictable even for people who were in book club who were saying the same thing. So anyway, that's the point. I almost DNF'd it so many times, but I like to read my book club books, so anyway. Next up, we have Emma. I swear to gosh, I talked about this so much last month, and I legitimately did not like it that much. This is Emma by Jane Austen. It's a classic. I read it February 11th to February 16th as an audiobook and a physical book. I mostly listened to it, but I read, like, the beginning and the end as a physical book, and, like, some other parts in the middle, so I don't know. It just depended on the time. I love the character Emma, but every single time I was reading this book, I was just, like, waiting to turn the page, waiting to be done. You know? I legitimately almost DNF'd this, like, 45 times, but I really wanted to read it because it was on my TBR. It went so slowly. Oh my goodness. I was about to die. Because of the time that this was written, there were many chapters where, like, literally nothing happened. And I understand that that is the style of the time. But I could not deal with that. I really want to read... So, I want to read 2 classics this year. That's my goal. 1 fantasy, 2 classics, you know. I have some, like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things going on. One of the classics I already read. The second classic, I want to read another classic. I don't want to read a retelling or anything. I think I want to read Huckleberry Finn and then read James which is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn. So anyway, I really love Emma's story, and I loved the movie. Oh my goodness, I loved the movie. I really recommend the movie. This is kind of how I feel about The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. I felt like the movie was better than the book, and I feel like this sometimes happens if I watch a movie and then I read a book. If I really like the movie, I'm like, oh, I'll go read the book, and then it's different, and I'm like, and sometimes I like the book more. Sometimes I really, truly do like the book more. But I would definitely read a retelling of Emma. I do want to read that. So if you have any retellings of Emma that you like, comment them down below. Okay, next up we have Swimming Pretty. Sorry everyone, my mom came home and she wanted to say hi. I apologize. She didn't know I was filming. Anyway, this is my second TBR pick from February, and it's a nonfiction. I read it February 2nd to February 22nd, so it definitely took a long time. Obviously, I read other books in between, but that was that. I read it as an audiobook and a physical book. I read, like, some as an audiobook and some as a physical. I can't tell you which parts, because I feel like I read the middle as a physical book and then the two beginnings as no, because I read the beginning as an audiobook and then I read, anyway, whatever. I read it as an audiobook and a physical book. I gave it 4 stars. This has been on my TBR cart for so long. I'm so glad I got it off my TBR cart. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's talk about extra thoughts. I'm actually so incredibly excited about my extra thoughts because I talked about so much stuff. I was really, really happy with my... And it was also 11 o'clock at night when I wrote this review. I was also watching the Olympics while I was listening to it. I was watching synchronized swimming, which was actually super awesome. But synchronized swimming is not a winter sport. It's just I was watching... Because I don't really know that much about synchronized swimming. Anyway, this book isn't just about swimming. It's about women's rights. This is a great time to read this book because March is Women's History Month. We did Black History Month, now we're doing Women's History Month. I am so excited to put my bookshelf for Women's History Month. I did it last year too. Very excited. Anyway, there are also a couple of add-ins about race, which makes me really want to read The Sum of Us, because this has a lot of like race stuff. And this book was written in chronological order, which I think is really cool because you kind of see the throughout history of swimming and fashion, which I loved. I loved the fact that like she talked a lot about fashion, which I thought was really cool. The beginning chapters talk about ancient swimming, and then the epilogue talks about changes in swimming from the 1900s to now. Specifically, like, again, this was about synchronized swimming. I am a swimmer, like a swimmer, not a synchronized swimmer. And so I thought it was going to be about swimming, but it was actually more about synchronized swimming, which I thought was cool and something I didn't really know. So I was interested in that. 2 things I loved. They say that in ancient Greece, swimming was considered as fundamental as reading, which I love because, you know, I love my books and I also love the water and swimming, so it's slayful. Anyway, also in 1922, Syl Bauer swam the 400-meter backstroke in 6 minutes and 24 seconds, which was 4 seconds faster than the fastest man. And I said, it's giving Katie Ledecky. And for all my swimmers out there who care what the current 400-meter backstroke time is, it's currently 2 minutes, 3 seconds, and 14 milliseconds by Kaylee McCohen. I have her picture right here, if anyone is curious. I don't know. I was curious as a swimmer. I just wanted to know. So that's the current record. Anyway, slide. When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This is part of the When in Rome quartet. It's romance. I read it February 23rd to February 24th, and I read it as a online read, or on my Kindle. I say online read because sometimes I read on my phone or like my iPad, so anyway. I also started making these like reviews before I got a Kindle, so anyway. Oh, also point that I have. Oh, When in Rome is a series, but you can read them in any order. So I've read a couple more in other orders. But I gave this 4 stars, and I said, I absolutely love this book. I love Sarah Adams when you just need a cute, low stakes, fun read, pick you up a little bit. I read these 2 books, and oh my god, they killed me. I needed something fun. After that. I gave this 4 stars, but that's really over the last 100 pages. Like anything else. If you watched my February TBR video, you know it was hard to read. Oh my goodness. I really flew through this. I love the celebrity trope. I love, oh my god, what is that book? It's by, I'll find it and I'll put it here. But I loved it. So I love a celebrity trope, and then I also love a grumpy sunshine book. Especially like a boy who's grumpy and a girl who's sunshine. I don't know. This is so fun, and I feel like the small town is amazing. I actually read books 2 and 3, which we'll talk about in a second. And now I need to read book 4. Like, I'm very excited to read book 4. I loved the setting. I forgot about it. Here, hold on. Y'all, I should go get my book. Whoa. Bagbarrow Steel by Sarah Adams. This is the 3rd book in the series. Slide. I love this story. I love that there's no 3rd act breakup. Oh my god, I hate a 3rd act breakup. I hate it so much. It's like my ick. It's like, I understand that 3rd act breakups happen. I understand that that is a great way to move the plot forward, but I don't like them. I love the way that the characters talk about each other and how they talk about love. Amelia, the female main character, talks about, at the beginning of the book, she talks about wanting to play Scrabble with a man she loves, and I just love how Scrabble is like embedded throughout the book. I don't know. I think it's really fun. Now let's talk about the other books in the series. So I read Bagbarrow Steel first, and I gave it 4 stars. And then I read Practice Makes Perfect second. I read it in August. Or no. Yeah, I read it in August. Here's a picture of it. And I gave it 2 stars. Okay, so as you can tell from my notes, it says 2 stars. This is like what I'm looking at as I'm showing it to you. But to be clear, I did not actually give it 2 stars. I gave it 3.75. So I just want to be clear about that. This is not actually a 2-star read. I got it messed up in my notes. I apologize for that. I don't know how this happened, but I apologize. What? Oh my goodness. I don't believe that. That's crazy. Okay, I love a cutesy little fun romance where it's just like picks you up after your feet, but I feel like sometimes if I read like 4 of them in order, they kind of all mush together. And so I feel like that's kind of how it was in August, is all I was reading were those mushy books that mushed together. And I should have been reading some books like that and some that are different. So here my rank order. When in Rome is first. I loved it. Bagbarrow Steel's second, and then Practice Makes Perfect is third. If you want me to do a little video on it when I read In Your Dreams, which I have a 10-week hold on Libby for, I'm not gonna like go buy it. No hate. I'm just not that invested. And then maybe I'll do a little short about it. I'll be like, here are my rankings of it. Anyway. Okay, this one's gonna take a while, so buckle up, buckle your seatbelts, because I even have additional notes. Look at that, additional notes. Okay, the 6th and final book I read in February is Tell Me Everything by Minka Kelly. I absolutely love this book. Oh my goodness! This is Tell Me Everything by Minka Kelly. It's a memoir. I read it February 25th to February 26th. Okay. Have you ever heard of a beach read? I'm sure you have. Okay, a beach read is just anything that's happy, upbeat, flowy, slayful, nothing bad happens. I love to read an anti-beach read when a happy thing is happening. So, at the beach, I read, for example, Glad My Mom Died, which is not at all a beach read, but I love to read. Anyway, so February 26th is my birthday, right? So I'm happy, I'm playful, I'm so excited that it's my birthday. Let me go read a book that absolutely destroyed me. I legitimately cried so much reading this book. I gave it 4.75 stars, and I need to zoom in because what is this font size? 2? I think it might actually be 2. Minka Kelly is so self-aware. This book broke my heart. Please check the trigger warnings. I have them in my Fable review, so you can go check them out, or you can just Google tell me everything. Trigger warnings, capital trigger warnings. Like, oh my goodness, there were so many trigger warnings. I felt like it was everything. Anyway, like I was going through, like in Fable, you can go through and like list all the trigger warnings. It felt like it was every single trigger warning. Anyway, I think that many people who grew up with bad parents do similar things to their parents, and I think that Minka's story is interesting because she did almost fall into that trap, but she is good at making sure she doesn't fall too far, right? She gets sucked in, right? She gets sucked in, but then she pulls herself out. And I was like, thank you, girly pop. You're good at, like, she does it until she needs to stop. So I thought that was good. In the epilogue, Minka talks about how people should invest more in their friendships, and I thought that that was really fun. I think that this is a point that she makes because not only did she see her mom do this time and time again, she like saw her mom like go more towards relationships than friendships, but she also did this herself. And so she experienced herself, and I thought that was really cool. I think that the grief in this book is really interesting because Minka knew that her mom was a quote-unquote bad mom, but she stayed with her until the very end. I wish I could talk to her mom because I would love to hear if she thought about that in the last part of her life. Spoiler alert. Though I feel like there's not really spoilers in memoirs, right? I think that she kind of did. She asks Minka to come for Thanksgiving, and although I don't think that it was Minka's fault that she didn't, I think that her mom probably wanted to continue that relationship, and I do truly think that her mom did truly love her daughter. So Rick is a great person, and I'm so glad that Minka was able to have a relationship with him. Rick is her dad, and then I'm glad that David's dead. No context, not gonna give you any context, you'll just have to read the book. I really recommend it, but please check the trigger warnings. And if you check the trigger warnings and you're not even triggered, just be careful. Anyway, now let's get into my additional notes. I think it's hard to write memoirs because although I really loved this, it's not like other books that I read didn't have worse experiences or better experiences, you know? I rated Nico Case's book 4.5 stars, but that doesn't mean she had an easier or harder life. And I honestly really did love Nico Case's book so much. It was on my best books of 2025 list, so just so you know, I did really love that book. The only reason I did rate it lower is just because it took me a long time to finish. And I didn't even rate I'm Glad My Mom Died, and I feel like I shouldn't now, but I didn't even rate I'm Glad My Mom Died because I had so many mixed feelings about rating a book like that. This was my first one of those like really, really traumatic memoirs. But now that I've done it, I've realized that like you can rate a book like that, but you're rating based on the writing style, not the content. You know, like romances, you can rate on the content, you can rate on the tropes, you can be like, I don't like this trope, so yeah. But I feel like in memoirs, you're not rating on how bad a life did they have, you're rating on, okay, how much did I enjoy the writing style, you know what I mean? Or enjoy the book. I mean, you can rate on the book. Okay, before we start the TBR picking, let's talk about February stats. So every single book I read was a different genre on my little genre wheel. I guess I put YA romance and romance so you could say that those are the same, but I feel like they're different. The page counter was 1,870 pages. My book counter was 6, and my days read were 14. I've started to add this. Let me know if you enjoy it, and if you don't, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't know. I've been doing some new things for 2026, and let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's clean all this up and get ready to do my March picking. Here we go. Okay, here we have the TBR cart. I realize you can't even see it. Okay, here we have the TBR cart. We are going to be picking our March TBR. I did read both of the books on my February TBR, and I have a little book haul. If you follow my socials, you obviously have already seen this book haul, but I'll show it to you anyway. First of all, I got Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is a huge book. It is the prequel to the Divine Rivals series. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's very popular. I've read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Ruthless Vows is right here. I only own Ruthless Vows. I don't own Divine Rivals, but anyway, very excited about that. And then I also got The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I'm very excited to read this book. This book I don't think I want to pick for March, but this book I definitely want to pick for March. I'm so excited. I promise you, I am about to sit down this week. This is the book I'm reading this weekend, just so you know. And then I didn't put this on my notes, but I did get 2 books for my birthday yesterday. So first of all, I got this book, which is called National Dish. I thought it was like a cookbook, but it's actually a real book about dishes and food. I think it's interesting. I am definitely a foodie. I love food, but I'm also a picky eater, so I think it's gonna be very interesting. And then I also got this Wear, Repair, Repurpose. It's not really a book, it's more of like a craft book, but I thought I'd share it anyway, because, you know. Oh, and then also we have one more book to add to the TBR. I wouldn't call it in a book haul. I'm just borrowing this book from my mom. She thinks I'll like it, so I'm putting it on the cart to think about reading. Okay, I'm gonna put you over here. Okay, now here are all the books that I'd be interested in picking. First of all, we have Told You So by Macy Neely. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 4 is coming out this March, so I'd be really interested in picking that, to see that. I don't know why I didn't put Wild Reverence back on the cart, but here we go, I did. I also think it's available on Libby, so yeah. Next up we have How to Read a Book by Monica Wood. I also have that available on Libby. Next up we have Favorites by Lane Fargo. I obviously have this on the TBR, so that's definitely very high up there. Not very high. It's up there. It's literally the top. It's number 1. Next up, we have Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. I have a 6-week hold on Libby. I don't think I want to read this anymore. I think I'm going to take it off for April. I feel like it's kind of too late. Though it does take place in the summer. I think I could see myself like reading this at the beach, finishing the Boys of Tommen series in the summer when I'm craving winter. But I think I'm over this for like a couple months and we'll come back to it in the summer. Next up, we have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This one I want to reread, and I do own it. I don't have it with me. It's over there. I can go grab it. Hold on. Is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know that I'll get to this, but we'll see. And then lastly is Wild Darling by Alexandra Moody. I don't know that I want to pick it because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy it, but I think that it could be a really fun read. So yeah. So, if you're new here, let's get into it. Okay, I'm moving you back, and I'm moving you over here. Okay, so, for my March TBR, I always do, 3 books, because I do my TBR picks, like, month to month to month. So, in January, I picked 1 book. In February, I picked 2. Now it's March, we'll pick 3. And then in December, I'll pick 12. So that's how I do it. So based on the month order is how many books I pick for the month to be on my TBR. I want to do 3 full TBR picks, though March, I kind of do want to mood read. So I don't know if that's going to be this month. Anyway, here's my TBR jar. It's actually a family heirloom. It's one of those like Russian stacking things, but instead of being a doll, it's blocks. And then I always put my stuff in a wee jar so I can reuse this for anything. In the summer, I was doing the Summer I Turn Pretty. So anyway, and I also feel like it mixes them up. I didn't add any prompts this time. I think I took some out, I feel. I'm picking this one. Enemies to lovers. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna look at this. I don't know what the favorites is. Okay, not enemies to lovers. As of here, I don't think this is enemies to lovers. Yeah, no, definitely not. No. These are all, the books on the bottom I don't want to read right now. They're like out of season or something. I don't think I have many romances on the cart. Wait, is Wild Darling an enemies to lovers? Let's go check. Is Wild Darling enemies to lovers? It is! We're picking Wild Darling. So our first pick of March will be Wild Darling. Is Wild Darling by Alexandra Moody. I don't know that I want to pick it because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy it, and I'll probably read it on my Kindle or I'll get it. We'll see. Next up, number 2, we have to get the favorites. I mean, if we don't, it will be okay. I will live through it and I will read it just as a mood read, but okay, I'm picking this one. I'm scared. Mood read! This is exactly what I need, y'all. This is exactly what I need. Okay, the reason I don't want to pick Wild Reverence this month, well, other than it being huge, legitimately massive, is also that I want to do a reading vlog with it, so stay tuned. Anyway, the favorites by Lane. I mean, I want to do a reading vlog with the favorites by Lane Fargo, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And then I was like, oh, I'll read at the end of March during my, like, spring break vlog. But I don't even think I'm going to make a spring break vlog. Or if I do, it's going to be, like, far out. So, you're going to have to wait. And I want to read this weekend. So, you know what? We're just starting it. I suppose the other reason I wanted to film this video right now is so that I could start my next books. Whoa. Something fell out. Okay, we're just gonna use the thing that fell out. Recommended by a friend. Okay. This is hard. That right now. My friend just read Before the Coffee Gets Cold. You know what I really want to read? Yeah, you know what we're gonna read? We're gonna read The Great Alone by Kristen Hannah. My friend is reading... Oh my god, what is she reading by Kristen Hannah right now? The Women, which I do want to read. I think it'll be really good and really fun. And honestly, I'd be good reading any Kristen Hannah book, but I'm gonna put on my Libby, because I think I have Libby holds up, because I didn't have for a long time. But yeah, I have 8, so I have 2. Okay, we're gonna put The Women. It's available? Oh, and you know what? We'll check the library, because I do want to read The Great Alone more than I want to read The Women, but my friend has, people love The Great Alone. I think my stepmom's read The Great Alone, and then, so that could be, like, the person who's, as a friend, and then, anyway, I'm gonna go put it on my account. Yeah, they have it! I need to go to the library anyway to return Minka Kelly's book, so it's fine. We're gonna do a little recap is what I mean. Oh, the first prompt that I got was enemies to lovers, and I picked Wild Darling, probably on my Kindle, but we'll see. And then I got mood read, and I picked The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I definitely will be picking this, or will be reading this with Olympic figure skating. And then I got recommended by a friend, and I picked The Great Alone as a little library book. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe for more, and stay tuned for more videos. As I talked about much in this video, I literally love to make these videos, and I love to make videos, and I have so many fun videos planned for this month. I literally, this weekend, my goal is to read The Favorites by Lampario, and also to, do a video. So yeah, you'll just have to stay tuned for what it is. So follow my Instagram for more. Obviously, you get to see fun things that you don't get to see over here. Stories, you get to pick things, so definitely just follow it. And follow my Fable. I already talked about Fable like 25 times in this video, but if you're bookish like me, follow my Fable. I actually have to change my bookshelf for March. I hope you have a great rest of your day. This video was much longer than usual, but I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next video. Okay, bye everyone.